Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Life Vision Lab podcast. This is where we explore what it truly means to live a clear, conscious, and purpose driven life. Before we begin today's conversation, I want to pause for a moment of gratitude for each of you listening around the world. Our community keeps growing on Instagram, YouTube, and across podcast platforms, and it feels like divine orchestration. How each episode finds the right hearts at the right time. Thank you for your energy, your trust, and your presence, and thank you for being here. My guest is Tara Wiskow, an intuitive energy healer and a life reinvention expert who helps women break free from self-abandonment, self-sabotage, and the cycle of people-pleasing. After naturally releasing over 220 pounds and healing deep emotional pain, Tara created the She Rises program to help women unravel old programming, reclaim their power, and up-level into the life and body they desire. Wow, I can't wait to hear what we're going to unpack in this episode. Tara, welcome to the Life Vision Lab. I'm so grateful to have you here. Your story is one of transformation and courage. Can you take us back to the chapter before your transformation began? And what was life like then, physically, emotionally, spiritually? And what was that moment when you decided you were done abandoning yourself? I think being as real and giving some of your examples would really help me and the listeners understand that it's normal to go through these things, but it's about how you decide to come out of it. Welcome again, Tara. I'm so excited to begin our conversation.
Oh, thank you, Shwetha, for today. I have been looking forward to our conversation after our first little blurb of getting to talk. Counting down how many sleeps until I get to be with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And I love that we're starting. I love that we're going to right before my actual true transformation began. And the reason why I say that is because like many, even yourself, Shweta, and probably a lot of your listeners can resonate with this. We think that this transformation is the one. We think that this one is going to create the results. And this is going to be the moment where everything changes and something happens. And we find that we're throwing in the towel. We're deciding that now's not the time, or something rises that gives us this belief that we just can't do it. And so I had a lot of those moments of, here's my transformation. This is where it's going to begin. And it wasn't until I reached my deepest, most darkest place of my life that I was forced into the transformation through a really huge spiritual unraveling that I didn't know in the moment was a spiritual unraveling. I really had no idea what was occurring, and it didn't hit home for me until many years later, just recently, in fact. And so we're looking at about 14 to 15 years after that moment, I understand what happened in the moment. And so
So what was,
it's
but
good.
what is your definition of spiritual?
So my definition of spiritual is it's a hard one for me. I feel like it's supposed to be this, and what it is this. I grew up in church and going to church and believing that Sunday school is where you go, you pray to God. I still have God in my life. The difference is I have God in my life without feeling like I have to sit in a pew for everybody else to know that I have God in my life. I don't look at God as spirituality. I look at God as my religion, my divine creator and savior. Spirituality for me is connecting with the universe, your higher power, being guided by spiritual guides and angels, and knowing that the overall of that is God. Because if it wasn't for God, none of the other pieces underneath that big umbrella would exist, nor would. So that spirituality for me is everything outside of God, but yet because of God. So back to that moment of my transformation before I began my true weight loss journey, getting back there. Been asked this. And so it really makes me go back to that moment and be that woman at 338 pounds and drop into her body again and be there. It was hard. Life was hard. I felt like I didn't have a choice in the life that I was living. I felt like I was just supposed to be overweight and I didn't get to be anything but that. I was a victim. I was a victim to my reality, to my life. I didn't choose to be the victim, nor did I know that I could choose not to be a victim. I let life control me. I have belief that life happened to me, that happening for me. And there is a lot of sabotaging, a lot of poor choices, doing what I thought was meant to be, and they were conditioned programming actions and habits that didn't serve me, but I wasn't thinking there could be anything else available to me. And so there is a lot of those hard, depressing, unhappy moments, and I would say very unfulfilling. My life was very unfulfilling. Am I answering your?
Yes, you are. And so it explains what you were feeling physically and emotionally back then, right? And
Yeah.
thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with me and the listeners, because oftentimes we feel we shouldn't be honest and upfront, and we choose to keep it within and judge and are critical of
Yeah.
ourselves. You've spoken about how your physical weight was really a reflection of your emotional weight. Am I right?
Yes.
So I think it kind of drove a lot of your depression, you said, feeling limited, not knowing how to get out of it, finding excuses, poor choices that you
Mhm.
made. What were some of those patterns, emotional patterns you began to see, and when did that awakening start happening?
Because I'm somebody that needs to hit the brick wall and then I can become aware, I wasn't able to see the patterns. At that time of my life, I wasn't able to sit and look at my life and say, okay, this has a change. This is what you're doing that's not serving you. I wasn't there, not at all. I was surviving. That is simply what I was doing. And so when that moment, we went to, I think the best place to start, honestly, of where I started to unravel is to just share the story of where it came. At 338 pounds, I had been struggling with everything that women decide to do: starvation, deprivation, cutting out food groups, telling yourself that you can't eat sugar, you can't have carbs, reading anything and everything, doctor prescribed drugs, internet suggested. I was putting anything and everything in my body to try to lose the weight. And when that wasn't working for me, I began struggling with bulimia. That was a year and a half of letting myself believe that bulimia was going to bring me into the body that I desired and that I could just end it when I got to that. This is how the best way I can say it. If I just do bulimia for however long it takes to lose the weight I want to drop, then I'll just be done with it and I can decide to not struggle with it anymore. And a year and a half later, I started to see that I was losing my hair. I was lacking a lot of my energy. The one reason I wanted to lose weight was to be a better mom and to actually be a mom that my boys deserved. It was further away from that goal than I was at the start of struggling with bulimia. I wasn't realizing that I had a sickness. It was a sickness. I was at the park with my boys and I was the park bench mama. I heard some moms at the park one time comment that when my boys and I showed up, I have three boys, I heard her say, "Oh, there's the park bench mama." And she was not wrong. I sat on the park bench. And the reason why I did is when you're over 300 pounds, the swings, they don't hold you. You can't get down the slide. You are a danger to the little children running around because your body is that large. The play, the equipment. And so I sat on the park bench and I let those moms be the moms to my boys. They brought my boys in and played with them, and they gave them the experience that I wanted to. And I told myself that I didn't get to do that because I was too large. I sat on the park bench, and this day was no different. I was sitting there, they were all playing. The one thing I usually did as when we were at the park is I would watch and I would start to note when moms were packing up and getting ready to go. So I'd get the boys and then we'd jet before everybody else was gone. And the reason I did that is I didn't want my boys to ask me to play with them. I was so ashamed and I felt they would be disappointed that I
Oh
wasn't
my
able to
God.
play with them the way the other moms did. I sat there and I was thinking about how disgusted I was with myself, how I was struggling, how life was not what I thought it was going to be. It was really berating myself and cutting myself down. And I just really wasn't paying attention to everything that was taking place. All of a sudden, I hear my boys and I know they're standing in front of me. Here they are, three dirty faces, all sweaty and grimy, begging me to play their favorite game, begging me. And so I said, all right, fine, we'll play it, but we're playing it for just a little bit and then we're going and then we're home. That's it. Their favorite game is a swing game where they swing and I run in between them. Some of your listeners are going to say, oh, yeah, played that.
Yes.
And I loved it. It was so fun to see my boys laugh and to hear them squeal and just enjoy the time. So we're in about 15 minutes into it. And so it's Trevor, my youngest, Treston, Trevor, my oldest, Treston, my youngest, Trey, my middle. That's how it went. So I'm standing at Trevor and I said, when I get to Trey, we're done. We're going home. Okay. And they're like, okay, okay. So I had their buy-in. Get by Trevor. And I told Treston, here I come. And he just squealed. He was so excited. I was confident and I was having fun. And I tripped.
Oh no.
Yeah. Treston came back and his feet collided with my body.
Oh my God.
And when he collided, he was 2.5 years old. And the force of him barreling into my body flung him backwards. And he wasn't able to hold on to the swing. When he fell, the pressure of the fall actually cracked his head open and knocked him out. He was unconscious. And I scrambled over to him. My other two boys were crying. They're seeing the blood. I couldn't even get up. So I crawled as fast as I could. And I grabbed him and held him against me and used one arm to be able to pull him up. At this point, he's still unconscious. And my boys are running to the vehicle. I'm trying to run. Now, you've heard the saying, when you have this adrenaline rush, you can lift a 4,000-pound car. That was for me that day because there was no adrenaline.
Oh.
I would run 5 feet and I'd have to stop and I couldn't continue to go. And there was blood and I started to go into a deep spiraling panic because I believed I was losing my son as a result of my obesity. Treston was fine. We got to the ER. He got staples in his head that he was very proud of. My other boys, all three, they got a lollipop for being amazing. And I left completely shattered.
God, I'm feeling goosebumps right now, Tara.
Yeah.
That's so hard for a mother.
And when it's you did that, right? Like you have to take responsibility that that injury was as a result of you, not intentionally, but at the end of it, I was responsible for that. I tripped. It was my body. And when I say that, like my guides say, to be really real and honest with ourselves, any mom of any body size could have experienced that.
Yes.
Not because I was simply overweight. I internalized it as that because that's what I knew. That's what I'd programmed to believe. No, after that, 3 days after that experience, that's when I experienced divine intervention. I was ending my life. I
Oh my God.
decided that I was not ever going to be the mom that my boys deserved. That experience at the park confirmed for me that I was never going to lose the weight. I was never going to be the woman I wanted to be. I would never be a mom that my 3 magnificent little boys deserved to have. And I was sick of trying. I was so sick and tired of believing I could succeed and failing over and over. And I just didn't believe I could continue to do it anymore. And so I went into my bedroom and I thought I locked my door. And I sat there and I cried, wishing that everything could be different, knowing it couldn't. And my door opened. And when my door opened and I looked up, my middle son was standing there. He took in everything he saw. And at 5, he was smart enough to know what he was seeing. He asked me a question that made me realize I had a choice in life. He said, "Are you going to die, Mama?" And I knew that I was never going to lie to my boys. And I knew that it was yes or no. And I thought, I can choose yes or no. You're asking me, am I going to die? So I have a choice in this because minutes ago, I thought I didn't have a choice. I thought that this was the only thing available to me. Then I
Oh
heard
wow.
in my own voice, which I now know is not my own voice, or wasn't me. It wasn't my voice, but spiritually guided to me. It was my guides, the universe, the higher power, whoever you speak to, that said to me, "Tara, You have got to learn to love yourself as much as you love your boys. That is the only way you can get out of this. That moment of spiritual awakening where I realized that the only thing that I'd never done to try to lose weight was to love myself. I had the mirror, I had berated myself, I'd cut myself down, I'd spoke horrible things, I called myself names, I pinched my fat. I was so angry and mean to myself. I hurt myself through choices that I made, though I never try to love myself. And that's where everything shifted and I started to rise and the weight loss just started to happen.
Wow, that is so deep, Tara. Thank you. And such a difficult place to be in. I need to take a moment. That was really deep. Thank you for sharing. It was dark night of the soul, right? It was your moment of the dark night of the soul when you realize we all have choices, but we forget.
Yes.
We forget that we actually have choices to decide every moment when we play victim, when we think we are the bad ones, right? The self-talk we do. Thank you for being transparent about everything, Tara, especially eating disorders is such a real problem today. I mean, I wish I could have the exact global number, but women who suffer from eating disorder is unmeasurable today. There's so many. In US alone, there's an estimate that says it's close to 20 million women who have an eating disorder at some point in their lifetime. That itself speaks volumes. We don't even know how to measure this across the globe. And so it's such an important message that you're bringing forward. It's about what you choose to get to the other side of light. You lived in darkness, you chose light, and you came onto the other side. That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
That was really deep, and I can see you were reliving it. It's still hard for you today when you think about it, right?
It
But do
is.
know, Tara, it could have happened to any of
Yeah.
us. And I think as mothers, we always find, if not your obesity, it's something else. It's someone else running to work for the family, but feeling guilty that they're not showing up for their child. And that eventually leads to emotional blockages in the body, that leads to ill health, that leads to putting on weight. We need to learn to love ourselves more.
Yeah.
We need to be kinder to ourselves. Tara, thank you again for being so transparent.
Well,
And I love that to see your healing as coming home to yourself, not really fixing, right?
yes.
So when that moment with your son happened, and our sons, I tell you, they are magic. I had an episode with my son, and I have many with my son. I feel like there's a reason he's in my life, and he was born to remind me how to love myself too. A week ago, we were talking about something. I was really stressed about the hustle of life, right? There's so much going on. And I remember him looking at me saying, I want you to achieve your dreams, Mama. What do you need me to do?
Wow.
Do you want me to check in with you? And he's 11, Tara. For him to say that to me, I'm like, okay, my husband and I have done something right when he asked
Yes.
me that, right?
Yes.
I think our children are a perfect mirror of what we need to see in ourselves. And sometimes when they're really difficult, we think it's them, but no, it's saying something to us. There's so much to unpack here. I love how this conversation is going, and I want to switch a little bit now to your healing journey. So I want to talk about the fact that you're a certified NLP practitioner. My first episode spoke about EMDR, spoke about tapping, how important touch is for healing. And my third episode spoke about how skincare is important for the nervous system and healing. I'd love to hear from you. What is neurolinguistic programming in simple terms, and how it helped you rewrite your inner story?
Absolutely. Neurolinguistic programming, also, you'll hear it called NLP. It's one of my most favorite modalities. I have a number of them that I use in my healing space with clients that I work with that I use for myself. And NLP always just lights my soul on fire and gives me so much happiness to talk about and to utilize. It's a field that combines communication techniques, psychology, behavior analysis, and the intention of it is to help people achieve personal or professional goals. That's really the intention behind it. The relationship between a person's neurological processes, their language, their behavior patterns can be changed and optimized when we shift your mindset, when we shift your behaviors. I aim to help women release these unwanted beliefs, these habits, so that they're able to accomplish goals that they believe within their body is not possible for them. And the reason why I brought this in was as a weight loss coach, which I've been a weight loss coach for 15 years now. And in my program, the women were dropping the pounds, and it was, we were learning to love, and we were learning to have worth. And that was a huge piece of it, is when we have love and self-worth and sustainability and self-discovery, we can understand what's blocking our ability on the physical front and causing us to gain weight and not be able to lose it. It was working fantastic. They were dropping the pounds. However, I was finding that it was a constant struggle to believe that they could keep the weight off. Like they were constantly cycling back to believing, well, I'm going to put the weight back on anyway. I lost 220 pounds. I became a bodybuilder. I'd competed in bodybuilding competitions. I'd placed first place in a competition, had all this muscle, yet I still would sit there and think, when is it going to be that I'm going to be 338 pounds again? Because it's going to happen. I understand how.
Because it was so ingrained in you for so many years. So tell me something. Let's go back. So that day with your son in the room when you realized you had a choice, what did you do after that? That then, like you said, eventually led you to NLP.
Yeah, I love this. Okay. So small steps, right? First of all, I started doing the only thing that I could think of doing, which was walking. And I wasn't ready to shift my food because I had an unhealthy relationship with my food. I did make that decision that day that I would never ever purge my food again. I made a promise to myself that that was done. And that is something that I stuck to and I committed to that moment because I was empowered, knowing that I had a choice. Do I live or do I not? And that empowered me to know if I can choose to live, I can also choose to not purge my food. And so I started walking. I was only able to walk a quarter of a mile. And that was enough for me to say, I went a quarter, I can continue to push myself and go further and further. Eventually, I got to the point of walking 10 miles a day. I would break it up.
Wow.
I'd walk in the morning and every break I had at work and in the evening with the boys. And then when they were in bed, I walked on my own. And so I'd reach that 10-mile point of walking. When I accomplished that and I felt really strong in that and I saw the weight starting to fall off, that's when I started to implement a strategy of healthy eating with the food where I began to actually clean it up. One thing that was for me was really restricting the carbohydrates. I don't train that. We'll do that again. That's what I thought was right for me and worked for a stint of time and it helped me. And I think because I struggled with bulimia and I had that eating disorder, it was probably the best way for me to unravel because it was all carbohydrates that I ate that I then felt like I had to purge. So I do believe, even though I don't train that way, sometimes that has to be the right first step to unravel from what makes you feel like you have to purge it to begin with. And so that was the process. It was slow and steady. It was telling myself that I was not going to use weight loss pills, supplements. I was going to do this on my own and believe that I could do it. And I also did mirror work. That was the piece of learning to love myself, is actually standing in front of the mirror, fully naked, allowing myself to see my full body and realizing that I had to love who was looking back at me in the mirror. I had to love every bit of me if I wanted to lose the weight. And that was the only way. I knew that to be true for me. Now, again, I understand because I was being guided to understand that.
Intuitively, your body was pushing you for that, right?
Yeah.
You needed that.
And so I would stand in front of the mirror and I would say, I love you. And I love you. I'm so grateful I get to be you. Your body is beautiful. Your body has carried 3 babies. I would say all of these things are building me up and making me feel great. And I would just own that body as mine.
How did it feel in the beginning?
Oh, it's terrible. After
I know that because I've been trying to do it myself. Every morning I wake up, I look at the mirror and I say, I love you, you're amazing. And I'm like, cringe. That's the first word, cringe. What are you doing? This is
Yes.
crazy.
Yes. You feel like this is so stupid. What are you doing? This is so dumb. Why would you stand here and say this to yourself? But I just continued to do it. And Shweta, the moment that shifted it for me was my boys. They stood outside and they're young enough, and some may judge this, and I don't care. I stood there completely naked. And they stood there and they watched as I was doing that. And they watched me cry. And they asked me what was wrong. And what happened is they filed in next to me and they stood on either side of me. And they just supported me. They held space. And it was the next week, I saw my middle son standing in front of the mirror. And I saw him saying, I love you. I have big muscles.
Love it.
And I thought, oh my gosh. Like that was really hard for me to do. However, it's now weaving into my boys and they're adopting this practice for themselves. And he's just having fun with it. It really is shifting something huge within him without him even realizing it. It's the power of it. That was a start of where it went from there.
And then you slowly progressed as you got your body moving, as your beliefs started changing, you started challenging yourself on eating strategies and getting into more strength workouts.
Yeah, when I
Okay.
got to, I'd lost the weight. I decided I wanted to start doing just dumbbells. I wasn't a personal trainer then. I just wanted to do dumbbells for muscles. It was like a next level for me. And I fell in love with it. Before I knew it, I was in the gym doing very basic. And then it continued to progress as I pushed myself and I saw the success that I could do because I made the decision to be where I was and do what I was doing. It continued to make me ask, if I could do this, what more could I do? What next could come in to play for me? Because I said yes to this. What if I say yes to this? And every time I did that, it just gave me the next level up. The most important piece of this is I wasn't waiting for somebody else to give me the rung of the ladder. I was creating the rung of the ladder.
Because I think you found the strength from within yourself to transform
Yeah.
versus relying on someone else to help you transform.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big factor here. When you went through that dark night of the soul that day, you like, it's your choice, and you're going to make it happen for yourself.
Yeah, it's empowering when you realize that, especially as a
Yeah.
woman. And I don't know if you find this, but I feel as a woman, I've often believed that I had to be a shadow of a man. And I couldn't step in front of him. And in fact, I did experience that. I know we're kind of going on a tangent, but I just feel like I should say that. It's like when I started to build muscle, get stronger, I stepped in front of my husband in that way. And he did try to pull me back because his insecurities came forward. And so he would say things to me that made me feel like, oh, I shouldn't be stronger than him. I shouldn't have more muscles than him. I shouldn't be doing this. This is a man thing. And then I learned that they used to have gyms that were all pink and it was a woman's gym and a man's gym. I was like, man, that made me so mad. I was like, the hell with that. I am in here and I'll show the men that if they want to be next level to me, then they damn well better work for it. And if they can't work for it, you know what? That's okay. And that's the conversation I had with my husband. I said, if you don't like your body, then you need to do something about it. And I'm not asking you to do what I'm doing, but I am demanding that you respect that this is a decision I'm making for me. And if you can't be okay with that, then you've got some decisions to make. I'm not going to continue to cut myself out of my life. Now, he does his own strength training. He's getting muscle. He pushes me because now I see him pushing more than me. And I'm like, oh, I got to push myself now. So,
And I love you alchemized the situation because you chose to love yourself first.
yes. So,
And so I think for a lot, and I know we're going off on a tangent here and we'll come right back into NLP shortly, but I think it's important to note for me, as well as a lot of women listening, that we are probably all been in an unhappy part of our marriage, right?
yeah.
A lot of them are currently. But the minute you choose yourself and you choose to love yourself, and that is a non negotiable,
Yeah.
if the man, woman, whoever your partner is, decides to stand by you,
Mhm.
is ready to accept that bigness in you and that power you bring out, and is makes his or her container big enough for you to fit in,
Yeah.
then you know what? It's going to work. If not, you find your space and eventually your own path where you can find that
Yeah.
individual, right?
Yep.
And I think that's such an important message too, that the minute you start choosing yourself, and for you it was your body, for some it's mental health, for some it's probably not having children and they have to choose themselves to find another way that they can love themselves.
Yep.
So there's so many different ways for us women to learn this lesson time and again, because it's years of conditioning, that we come last, right? No,
Yes.
we actually come first. Because if a woman comes first, then the family comes along with her, the community comes along with her. It's just our aura is that big to hold a lot of people together, but we need to choose ourselves first.
Ugh, I love that. That is so beautifully said and so true. That is the path I learned. I've been divorced from my ex-husband, the dad to my three boys, and I learned how to find myself. That was my weight loss journey. I had to end a marriage that was not going to allow me to become the woman that I wanted to be. And ending that gave me that path, as you talked about, to create the exact container that I wanted. It was scary. It was hard. There were lonely nights. I had to learn to appreciate my own presence and my own being within that container. And it was such a beautiful coming home because we started dating at 16 and married at 20.
Wow.
Young. I was so young and I hadn't grown up. So I didn't know who Tara was. I hadn't created my own pieces. I created the pieces that he said. He was doing what he was doing, and I was following along, believing that I had to do what he did. And that's oftentimes what we women do when we're stuck in those shadows. So that divorce was huge. And my husband now, I had fear that he would choose to leave me. And I had to say, if he does, then there's a reason. And it means there's something better on the other side because I know the universe has a plan for us. And
And we're loved, right?
yes, yes,
We're loved.
yes.
It's never, and like you said, it's not to punish us, but it's to take us onto the other side where you're going to get more.
Yes. Whatever is meant for me is coming to me in a divine time and order far beyond whatever I could imagine. I have that written on a sticky note on my wall to remind me that when I slip into lack, when I slip into believing that things are falling apart, I'm like, whoa, Tara, okay, let's just take a time out here and let's remind us of that what I think I want or need is limiting me because there is something far greater than I could ever imagine possible for me right on the other side of all this lack and doubt. If I just keep pushing through it, I'll step into it. So it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Coming back to NLP,
Yeah.
what were some of the beliefs you uncovered and reprogrammed through NLP?
Oh my gosh. I should get out my notebook. We would be here for days, Shwetha. I say that because oftentimes when I'm working with women, I'm writing down the limiting beliefs as we're coming through them and we're trying on the energetic charge to know, like, is it 0 where it's like, yeah, it doesn't really affect me? Or is it 10 where it's like, it suffocates me? And sometimes we have 25, 30 beliefs written down and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm a complete mess. And I say to them, honey, every day we have 67,000 thoughts that come through our head. This is only 30 thoughts.
Yeah.
No, it's a point something percentage. Like you are not a mess.
And we're not our thoughts, right? So we have the power to change it.
And that's the beauty of NLP because we think we are our thoughts, and NLP creates the ability for us not to be our thoughts. It shifts it for us. So, some beliefs that I uncovered is I'm not good enough. I will never be enough. The wildest thing about these limiting beliefs is that I'm not good enough. I'll never be enough. I'll never have a body I can love and be proud of. Those were some of the biggest beliefs. I always have to struggle. If I want to be successful, I have to always work hard. So it had these beliefs that made me believe if I'm losing weight and it's happening easily, then there's something wrong. And the reason why I share that is I was walking, I was doing what I was doing, and I was losing weight. And I remember going to work and sitting down and I started crying. Like I got to my spot where I worked, I got to my little cubicle and I started crying. And the gal that sat in front of me, she backed up and she came in. She goes, Tara, what's going on? What's wrong? And I said, I think I'm sick. She said, what? I said, I think I'm sick. She said, why do you think that? I said, I just lost 15 pounds. And she said, what? I know, right? I lost 15. I'm going to make an appointment. She goes, Tara, look, you're walking every day. You're eating salads and vegetables, and you're eating healthier than you ever done, and you're drinking water. And she's like, what do you mean you're sick? Thought that if I'm losing weight and it's happening for me and I'm actually enjoying it, I have to be sick. So those are some of those limiting beliefs. That's just a tip of the iceberg. Oftentimes, we don't even remember what they are because we remove them from our being. I sometimes cannot even remember the beliefs that I have because they're no longer true for me.
And that's happened a lot to me in the recent past. I am lucky that I have a lot of good support around me and I can afford these modalities. But could you walk us through a simple tool or an exercise for listeners who probably don't have this kind of support, or they can reach out to an NLP specialist, or they can't afford it? It could be a number of reasons why. What can they try today to catch and reframe a negative thought pattern?
Yeah, I love this. This is actually an exercise that I do. I'm also a motivational speaker, and this is an exercise I take my audience through. In what we do is we find the lies, right? We bring the lies forward because that's what a limiting belief is. It's a lie. And every lie has a truth. And if you have kids, if you're a parent, an aunt or an uncle, or work with kids, you know that that's true because every lie they tell you, there's a truth on the other side of it. And it's the same for you. If you sit down and think about an area of your life where you're not reaching the level of success you want, you know you're being limited, but you don't understand why. Ask yourself, what are thoughts you think when you see yourself at the finish line? So, like, visualize yourself. I love to place one hand on my heart, one on my belly, just calm that central nervous system. Maybe even take a deep breath in, exhale all that negativity. And I want to see myself accomplishing what it is I truly desire. And I see myself there. I'm going to receive an award for this. As you see yourself there, notice all these thoughts coming up that are telling you that's never going to happen. And those are limiting beliefs that you're channeling in because they're in your subconscious mind. They're stored there. And write those beliefs down. I'm not good enough. I'm not
I literally
smart.
got right now as you were guiding us through it.
Are you willing?
I am never going to get to where I want to be.
So I'm
If I have to get to where I want to be, I have to put in a lot of hard work and sacrifice a lot of my time with my family.
So I'm never going to reach success. And success comes with sacrifices. As I said, Shwetha, your energy pinged me. And it also could be that it's my belief too. So do you want to practice this right here, right now? Okay. So I'm going to have you close your eyes. Just feeling your body relax, knowing that you're safe to relax and to be, and that I've got you. I'm holding space for you. And it's safe for you to tap into this belief to know what is the energetic charge of it. We just want to uncover it. That's all. We're getting curious and we're asking that subconscious mind to help us bring this forward consciously. And now, when you feel ready, please say out loud, success comes with sacrifices.
Success comes with sacrifices.
Now, I want you to notice 0 to 10, what number is coming forward visually or do you feel in your body?
7.
Perfect. You can open your eyes. That is your energetic charge of a 7. I say that 10 is so high that it suffocates you and drowns your dreams out. 7 is right there where it's limiting you. So what happens now is, Shwetha, when you think about becoming successful, this surfaces. But if I'm successful, then I have to sacrifice time with my family. So what happens then? You limit your ability to be successful. You start finding that you're,
Ways to be small.
or you get successful and you feel so great, and then all of a sudden you feel your light just naturally dimming because you're thinking, "Ah, shoot, now I'm going to miss this. I'll just wait for another day. But this is a good start. This is a good start, right? It's what happens. Now, what we do, write that down in pencil. Success comes with sacrifices. Then, with a red pen, because red is power. Oftentimes, red seems negative. We're not going there. This is power. I want you to write the truth, right? There does not need to be sacrifices in success.
Success comes easy to me.
Yeah, success comes easy to me. Like, write down as many thoughts as you believe are truths to this that actually are going to cancel out success comes with sacrifices. Success comes easy to me. I can be successful without sacrificing love and happiness. I am supported in my success. I can be successful and have time with my family, right? As I'm saying that, feel your body growing energetically with, oh my gosh, could this be true for me? And then what we do is erase success comes with sacrifices. That's why you write, erase it. And now you say those other truths you wrote for yourself multiple times a day, whenever you need. I like to have them on a little recipe card or a little piece of paper. And I just grab it and I start reading these truths to myself and allow myself to embody them. Sometimes I stand up and I remind myself, shoulders back, sternum out, chin up, and I belt those thoughts out and I demand that these be true for me. And that cancels out that lie that you once believed to be true for you. So that is a beautiful way to do that. If hiring a practitioner to help you with that isn't where you are right now, beautiful way to do that for yourself. And it will help you shift those lies into truths.
Beautiful. But how many times do we forget to remember? And I think that's why to make this a practice is so important. I love that it's a new language, right? It's giving mind a new language so the body can follow along. And that's such a powerful way to see it. So thank you for sharing that exercise with us,
Welcome.
Tara. I'm sure the listeners followed as you guided me through my own process and you heard my limiting belief, and that gives you some power to do some work today in your own time and how you can cancel that out, right, on your end. So you often talk about energy healing and how our emotions get stored in the body. What does it actually mean to release blocked energy, and what did it look like for you?
Oh my gosh, yes. This is a calling that came unexpectedly. I would say I'm an intuitive healer. I'm an intuitive life reinvention expert. And it's a new learning of mine that I realize has always been within me. I just didn't allow it to come forward. And so, what does it mean? We're all energy as a collective. We are all energy. And I love using this as an example of saying somebody sneezes and somebody coughs, and you know they're expelling something out that you're going to get on you. Right? It's the same with energy. What I put out is going to impact the entire world. It doesn't matter where they are. They could be in France, and my thoughts are impacting everybody as a whole. And so when we look at that and say, if I'm continuing to put out negative, that's a frequency I'm putting into the world. The more negativity that we have as a whole is a frequency impacting the entire world. And energetically, our auras, you talked about it early in our conversation about women's auras being so huge. We have this energy field around us, and it can become porous, meaning it can have holes. We can start taking on other people's energy, and our energy begins to leave us. The reason why it becomes porous is we're stressed, we're unhealthy, we're tired, we are out of alignment with who we desire to be, and it shrinks our aura. When I test my women's aura, when they come into my healing space and we do sessions, I test it with my handy tool and I'm able to see where is their aura. We want it to be outside of,
Wide.
yeah, we want it wide. They say that it can go up to 9 feet out. I found that it can go far. So we want it to be wide. However, when it's porous, it's constricted, and then we take things on. We think about being, if you look of it as being a guard or a protector, and it's right up against your body, then anything that pegs you can hit you, right? Whereas if our aura is out and it's broad and it's wide, things are hitting it, but it's bouncing off because it's not. So energetically, when our aura is not healthy, when we're not having good energy hygiene of meditation, affirmation, exposing the lies, activity, getting good rest, eating healthy, drinking water, having laughter and joy in life, we're going to naturally shrink our aura. And that allows us to take on more energy that doesn't belong. What ends up happening is our body holds it. It causes us to become more out of alignment with our truth. And we can take on energy such as imprints. These are beliefs that are imprinted upon us. They could come down from past lives, generationally passed to us, or it could be something that's a belief that you believe to be true for you because somebody said something, somebody believes something to be true for them, and you decided that that was also true for you. We can also take on foreign, that's fluoride, medication, things like that. That could be foreign energy as well. Stagnant energy is your own energy. This is all yours, and it can be something from a trauma or an emotional wound that becomes stagnant. And to me, that's like decay. It's like a tooth that has a cavity is much and blocks our ability to have energy flow. Or we could have discarnate energy. Discarnate energy is a past loved one, someone that's passed over, maybe not anybody that you ever knew in your lifetime, that experienced a lot of trauma, experienced a lot of addictive behaviors. They've passed. However, they're not ready to cross over because they feel like they have a lot of unfinished business. They feel like they still have a purpose to live out. And so they take up residency. That's the only way that it can make sense to me. In a living being, they operate from that person's persona in order to live out their purpose. And this can be why sometimes you're sitting in a situation and you feel where you say, I don't understand why I think like this. It doesn't feel right to me, but I feel like I'm supposed to say this or do this. Or I know I got a gym membership and I work through this whole plan of what I'm going to do. And now I just don't want to do it. That oftentimes, that discarnate energy within us is saying, I don't want you focusing on losing weight and doing that because that's out of line with what I want to do. I'm here to do this and you need to be my vessel that does it. So you just quit this whole gym thinking. That can be what comes in with the discarnate energy as well. So that's the energy. And the importance of clearing it is because you need good energy flow in your body in order to have healthy body. When you have dis-ease inside of your body, it comes in the form of these energy blocks. It begins to impact your spiritual, your emotional, your mental bodies. And it isn't until you notice it in your physical body that it has caused a lot of disarray in your whole body.
Got it. And
Mhm.
for someone new to energy work, what's one gentle practice to start with? Maybe a breath, movement, or visualization?
Yeah. One thing that I love is so powerful, and I do this with my women all the time and with myself. I just had my husband do this and he entertained me. Putting one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, doesn't matter for me, right hand, left hand on belly. You could try either way to see which feels right. This calms your central nervous system. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, exhale out your mouth. And now I just want you to say, what is that emotion, that feeling that I'm feeling? And allow whatever comes up, comes up. And right now, for me, it's self doubt, which surprises me. I didn't realize that I had some self doubt here. Just feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling like I'm not giving myself all the things that I need, and it's causing doubt. What do you need me to do so you can feel safe? Let's just have fun in the process. Let yourself have joy. Stop making it so hard and demanding. Just let yourself relax. And then I'm just going to say thank you. And so that is the practice of that is allowing yourself. The reason why I share that is some will say, well, that doesn't feel like energy, yet it is because it's connecting energetically with your body. It's allowing you to go in and let your
Be present,
yes,
right?
yes. Let your natural intuition lead you because we're all intuitive
Mhm.
and we all have that ability to listen and be guided. And the most powerful things come to us when we let our internal self guide us.
That's so moving. Our bodies are such sacred storytellers, right?
Yes, they are.
So, after losing 220 pounds and doing so much inner work, who did you become on the other side of that transformation?
A woman that I never imagined I could be. A woman that has done more in her life than she ever thought was possible for her. I remember standing and giving my father-in-law a haircut, probably about 8 years ago. And my brother-in-law walked in to the room and he stopped and he looked at me and he said, "Is there anything you can't do?" And I thought, nope, there's nothing I can't do. I can do anything I set my mind to. I might not be great at it. I might make a lot of mistakes, but there is nothing I can't do. And that was so empowering. That's the woman that I've become after losing 220 pounds, is a woman that knows that the only limits that are placed upon her are the limits that she chooses to place upon herself.
Yeah, and I love that you say that. Freedom feels like remembering who you are and that you have the power to choose.
Yeah.
I want every listener to sit with that for a moment. It is just so powerful. Thank you for that, Tara. And so tell us about She Rises. What does that program mean to you and to the women you serve?
Yeah. That program means so much to me. It is a homecoming for women to step into the truth and to remember who they are and to be free to express themselves no matter what the world has told them, no matter what they believed. They rise into being the woman they want to be. And I think that's the most powerful piece of it. It's not who they think they have to be, it's the woman that they're saying, "This is who I am." I have so much love and passion for this program. It is a 6-month program, and it is such an amazing journey. In the first 8 weeks, we go through the unravel, and the unravel is the unbecoming. It's releasing the beliefs, the habits, the thoughts, the language that has been who you've been, and it's kept you stuck in this state of being someone that you don't want to be. We unravel it, release it, and fully clean our slate so that we can step back and say, wow, I get to now build. Like, I'm the artist of this amazing masterpiece. Everything that was blocking my ability to be happy and to love and to be successful has been, it's gone, it's released. And now I stand here as a sculpted like being, and I get to add the color. I get to add the personality. I get to add what it is I want to add. And that brings us into alignment and authentic being. And that's where we go into the upgrade. And the upgrading is the reframing of the thoughts, it's the beliefs, it's
Hmm.
becoming who it is that you desire to be. Those are all of the pieces that we do in that upgrade. So you
Hmm.
upgrade your system, you give yourself a
Hmm.
new programming. And
Hmm.
then we go into the up level. That's the final 8 weeks of the program. The up level is where you become the woman that you desire to be as if she already is you. You begin embodying her. You begin speaking and acting. We do a visualization and we see ourselves as the woman that we desire to be, and we journal around what does she wear? How does she eat? How does she talk? How does she show up? How does she
Hmm.
walk? We get really deep into what she does, who she is, and we begin embodying that. We begin becoming that. We take ourselves from the 3D living into the 5D living and fully embody that presence as though we are her. And when we do that, our external world begins to match our internal world because
Hmm.
internally we've already created that woman. She's already
Hmm.
in us. And that causes our external world to mirror it and become it. So that's what the process is. I use NLP,
Beautiful.
I use energy clearing, I use integrated energy therapy. All of the modalities are present there with the coaching of it.
Beautiful. And I'll definitely leave all the details in the description box below. So for those individuals who do feel called after listening to our conversation to
Thank
reach
you.
out to you, they can do so that way. So let's end with a few soul snippets, quick reflections from the heart, right? So you're not going to take long, it's going to be quick.
Okay.
A mantra that carried you through your hardest days.
Live as if you'll die tomorrow. Learn as if you'll live forever.
Live as if you'll die tomorrow. Learn as if you'll live forever. Beautiful.
Yes.
A book or teacher who changed your life.
The Slight Edge
Mhm.
really made me realize that I could think in an entirely different way. That was a huge, huge book for me. But Think and Grow Rich also, it was another mind altering ability for me to see things differently. Teacher would be, I've had so many that have been really impactful. I would say probably Gabby Bernstein has been one that's
Mm.
really opened my mind to seeing that I can be who I desire to be without fear. She leads.
Gabby's work too. She's amazing.
She is very much like you, Shweta, in how you show up here, being just yourself, authentic, and that's your goal here. And I love that. I love that you put that out there because it gives all of us the ability to accept ourselves.
Permission,
Say,
permission
I
to be
know.
honest, right?
Yes, you're giving yourself permission to be authentic, which gives us the feeling that we can give ourselves permission to do the same. And that is much of what Gabby's done for me.
Beautiful. What does She Rises mean to you on a soul level?
It means bringing women home to themselves. When I help women, when I'm a vessel for healing that allows women to come home to themselves, it is shifting our world. Because when women rise, we don't want to rise alone. We want to rise together. And whether it's men, whether it's women, whether it's children, we want whoever as a community will rise with us. And that makes us become united. And that united front is going to shift this world. I know it, and I won't stop because I believe in my soul that our world is going to begin shifting as every woman that goes through She Rises experiences it and then sets out on their path being their authentic self.
I got chills even as you said that. I love that. Complete this sentence for me. Freedom feels like
Peace.
beautiful. Ah, it's just such a good episode, Tara. Thank you for your honesty. It was a profound conversation showing us what's possible when a woman chooses to love herself back to life. To everyone listening, if this episode spoke to you, to your heart, share it with someone you love. You can connect with Tara, all the details you need, and learn more about her She Rises program. All the links are in the show notes. Remember, transformation isn't about doing more, it's about becoming who you truly are. Until next time, keep choosing clarity, keep choosing yourself, and keep rising. Thank you for showing up here today.
Thank you for having me. It's been an absolute honor.